Specialist Hector Barajas served in the Army's 82nd Airborne Division from 1995 to 2001. But after serving a 3-year sentence for an aggravated felony, he was deported to Tijuana, Mexico in 2004. He re-entered the United States illegally and was caught in 2009, at which time he was deported for life. As a deportee, Hector founded the Deported Veteran Support House in Tijuana, Mexico. This was a house that was used to support deported veterans like himself fighting to be able to return to the United States. Then in April 2017, Governor Jerry Brown of California pardoned Hector for his aggravated felony, and in April 2018, the United States government granted Hector his citizenship, which allowed him to re-enter the United States. Hector has joined us twice before on the show as we have followed these life-changing events, and he joins me again today to tell us what he's been up to since he has been granted his U.S. citizenship after being deported for over a decade. So welcome, Hector. I really appreciate you coming back on the show. When we last spoke 10 months ago, you just received this amazing news that you got pardoned by Governor Jerry Brown of California, and you were about to go and attend your naturalization ceremony, which was going to be in Tijuana, Mexico. Now, who was there at this ceremony? Tell us about what happened there.
Sure. So my ceremony was actually at the federal building in San Diego. They gave me a temporary permit to go across to the federal building. And then once I went there, I was able to get sworn in. But,
fabulous.
We had a lot of media, a lot of family members. My daughter was there, a couple of Congress people, Nathan Fletcher. So we had actually lots of media there. But most important, my family. And, I was able to come home with my daughter. And for the first time, I didn't have to tell her goodbye or home together. So it was great.
In all of your life moments, how does that compare to any of the other most fabulous days of your life?
Wow, it's one of the most important days of my life because it changed everything in my life as far as being with my family, being able to change my economic situation, health situation, the VA, and just being able to be with my daughter. So probably one of the most proudest and happiest moments.
So you were deported and you were living in Tijuana, and you started the Deported Veterans House to help veterans who were deported from the United States. You left Tijuana to come to the United States. How was it saying goodbye to people, especially other deported veterans who were not as lucky as you to become a U.S. citizen? Was there a little guilt?
Sure, it was difficult because I lived this for a very long time, and just seeing their faces, there's also sadness, but also their joy. But I'm actually in Tijuana more than I am at home at the moment. So I'm still continuing my work and my dedication to the veterans and the support out still there.
So when you first came to the United States, you headed to Los Angeles to be with your daughter, who you really didn't really know well. Have you gotten to know her better now?
It's been a slow process because I really haven't raised her, but they're at those weird years, teenage years, where they're on their own world.
Right.
So I just have to deal with that and just be okay with it. And instead of worrying about what role I am as a father, I need to build a relationship, which is kind of what I'm working on.
That's a pretty smart attitude to have. So how was coming to the United States? Were there celebrations? Did the United States look different to you than it did 10 years before?
It was from the celebration at the federal building. We had a family celebration at home, and then we had a welcome home the next day with the congresswoman here locally and some local supervisors and from the city of Compton. And then it's just been a lot of getting reintegrated into the VA and getting my life back. So I think the toughest part has been just the relationships that I've kind of lost out on the last time.
Sure. But
I'm catching up on that.
Last time we spoke, you said you wanted to go to Taco Bell. I assume you've been there multiple times now. Is that correct?
Yes, I
am. And did you get a chance to register to vote?
Yes, I voted for, as soon as I came across, I voted, I think it was the midterm.
Yes, in November.
Or the midterms were the last ones, but I voted twice already.
Wow, congratulations. How did that feel to vote after being deported?
Able to finally cast my vote and do what most citizens I think should do, and go out there and vote and be part of the democratic process.
So you're now back in Tijuana, is that correct? You went back to continue to work for the Deported Veterans House. How long did you spend in the States, and how long do you plan on staying back in Tijuana?
So I was actually I was there maybe for like a week in LA, and then I went back to Tijuana, and I've just been going back and forth. I just came from Tijuana a couple hours ago, and I'll be here tonight, and I'll go back in the morning and be in TJ, and then we're going to Costa Rica to visit one of our first female deported veterans that we're going to be working.
How is the transition of now figuring out how to start your life in California? I know from our last conversation, you're not going to just leave the Deported Veterans House cold turkey. That's going to be some sort of transition over the year. But I assume eventually you're going to want to transition into living in the United States, or is that not correct?
One of the stressors of not being home as much and just figuring out what I'm going to do next, because I'm still tied in with the support house. I'm looking into maybe going back to school, or I could just go straight into the work field. But I want to make sure that we leave a structure and a good organization in place, or I might continue to do this work as well. So and do
it's fantastic work,
part-time work, and who knows?
It's fantastic work. Yeah. Now you have dedicated at least the last decade of your life, and maybe, as you said, maybe indefinitely moving forward, to deported veterans, not only living in Mexico but all over the world. And now I understand that you expanded your service and you're assisting deported veterans in helping them to apply for benefits that they didn't know that they were entitled to. What kind of benefits would deported veterans be entitled to?
Veterans are still eligible for their GI benefits. Unfortunately, they can't use them in the United States, but they could go around that by going online and taking the online universities like Phoenix University. They also are entitled to a non-service connected pension, which is a little bit over $1,000 a month, and then service connected disabilities, which has medical, and it could range anywhere from $140 to $2,000 a month. So there are certain VA benefits that the men are entitled to.
And the government will send it to them to any bank anywhere in the world?
Sure, they will send their direct deposit anywhere in the world. They have a bank, and through the foreign medical program, they can receive certain treatment or VA healthcare through outside providers that the VA allows for them to get seen by.
Now, I find that really interesting because I know, for example, in my practice, I know Social Security, if you're a deported alien, whether you're a veteran or not a veteran, you're not entitled to Social Security benefits. But it's interesting that you're still entitled to veterans benefits.
Yes, so the veterans, a lot of the guys that are over 65, the Vietnam vets, they lose their Social Security, but then we help them with the Vietnam era pension. Also, oddly enough, I've seen people get they work with the union. They've been able to get their checks as well. So
like
there's
pensions.
little things that they
pensions.
Yeah, exactly.
And they don't know how to go about it, and your organization helps them do all of that.
Exactly, that's part of it.
How does your organization support itself? You're not taking parts of their pension, or I guess it's all through donations.
I wish
right? Yeah, right. But how are you supporting yourself? This organization supporting itself day after day after day.
Sure. So we get donors that donate money, and then we've been able to get a grant here and there. And every now and then, some of the guys do get their money, and they'll donate $100. Maybe a one-time donation.
Right.
But yeah, it'd be nice if they could donate.
So why didn't these guys apply for their benefits while they were in the United States?
Like any veteran, a lot of us don't know that you are eligible for certain VA benefits, and you wait 10 years later, or maybe you're not informed of the process, or that there is a process to get not just your medical benefits, but also to get like a economic support from the VA. Now,
you said that, for example, they're entitled to go to university and get an education. They would have to do it online. And you also mentioned medical benefits. How do they take advantage of medical benefits if they can't get to a VA facility in the United States of America?
So basically, there's a program called the Foreign Medical Program. There's a lot of veterans that live abroad, and basically the VA has outsourced or has this program so that if you live in the Philippines or Costa Rica, whether you're deported or not, if you're service connected for a certain disability, the VA will reimburse you or pay for those doctors only for that disability. So not for, in general, in the U.S. you could get seen for anything, but outside of the U.S. it has to be for the disability that the VA has given you. So it would work similar to like a private health insurance, that you would go to the doctor and then you would submit the bill to the VA and get reimbursed, and you're helping them get reimbursed.
Now, you're not only doing this in Mexico, you're doing this all over the world. You said earlier you're going to Costa Rica. Have you been to other places as well to help people?
We've gone to Dominican Republic and Haiti. We're planning a big trip to Jamaica in August, hopefully. Costa Rica and maybe Panama while we're there. And
Wow.
We do help other veterans apply for VA benefits from different countries.
How many people have you think you've helped? How many deported veterans are out there that you guys have helped?
Sure, I think we're doing the VA pensions and stuff. There's over about 90 guys getting their
Wow.
benefits at the moment, and over a dozen that are in some kind of process, and as well as a legal process as well. We've housed over 40-something guys, and so we've done quite a bit of work.
Are there any stories that stick out where you've really helped somebody get their benefits that was either down on their luck or didn't know? Or
Sure, a lot of the Vietnam vets that lose their Social Security and they have no type of income or help or support from their families, and basically they go from $30 a month to $1,000-something a month, and in Mexico that's a huge. I mean, that's a really good money. You can't do much with it in the United States,
right?
In other parts of the world, it's really good.
Yeah, because the dollar goes a lot further, especially in a third world country.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if somebody doesn't, can't reach you, for example, or it doesn't have access to the Deported Veterans House, where would somebody who is a veteran go online? Is there a website to go online that people can apply for their benefits, whether they were deported or not?
Sure, they would have to go to the VA website, download some forms, but they have to find a veterans service officer to help them apply for their VA benefits, and that takes a little bit of work. But they can also download the forms and fill them out themselves and send them into the VA, which if you're don't know how to do them, and that takes a little bit of homework as well. But it can be done by an individual.
Hector, you say you're going to do this for a year, but I have a feeling it's going to be a lot longer than a year. I think you're going to have a hard time stopping this cold turkey and not helping people. You do such a wonderful job of it. What do you think?
Thank you. I love doing work. There's some headaches every now and then, but it's worth it.
So where can people find out more about the Deported Veteran Support House?
So they can go to our website, which I see up on the screen. They can find us on Facebook, on Twitter, and we're doing pretty good on Instagram. So just reach out to us, and we can see how we can help you out.
And Hector, I always ask this of you. This will be the third time I ask you, and maybe your dream has changed. Tell us what your American dream is. Has it changed at all, or is it still the same dream?
My American dream is pretty much, I already have my family back, but I do want to have a nice house and a decent job, and just be able to live that American dream where you can have those kind of things. I think that's for most of us. It'd be nice to have a great career and all that, but just a nice home and a nice job is fine with my family.
Hector, thank you for coming on. He was a deported veteran. He served in the military honorably. He grew up as a child in the United States for most of his childhood. He was deported not once but twice from the United States. Never thought he'd ever come back. And he's now a U.S. citizen, and he's helping other deported veterans as well. Congratulations. It's a fantastic, fantastic job that you're doing. And thanks for coming on.
Thank you. You guys have a great day.
Okay.